Thank you, friends. Greetings to you all. Shabbat Shalom. Always a pleasure to see you. I hope you're enjoying this month of no extra holy days as you say farewell to summer, hello to school, and you begin to make your preparations for the days of awe. It sounds kind of strange, doesn't it? To think of the high holy day of Rosh Hashanah, New Year's, as the beginning of the days of awe. Well, over the next few weeks, we will talk about it. And as has been my practice over the years, I'm often away during the high holy days, helping with services in other locales, most often in upstate New York, where there is a scarcity of rabbis and a scarcity of regular services. And even though I was scheduled to be away again, I've been asked by so many here and have been able to make arrangements to conduct the Rosh Hashanah service at home this time. There will be no tickets, no boredom, and no asking, when will this be over? And over the next few weeks, I will be teaching anyone who wants to learn how to bring your intention back to that service and observe it on your own or with a small group and get as much, if not more, from it than you ever did before. Now, I had a fantastic lunch with my friend Alan, who listens regularly and has figured out how to load these into iTunes, and has promised to show me how to do the same. And he had a question for me that is actually going to be discussed in this week's Parsha, and I told him it's going to be discussed in this week's Parsha. Friends, there are no coincidences. One of the things we were talking about is the necessity to be adaptive, to be prepared to view this book in each generation as a living testament to our growth, and how so many are simply comfortable doing the same old, reading the same, believing the same, even though life is different. And the daily stressors of our lives are so different from biblical man, and that we're so stressed so much during the day. Now, we're also much more connected to our fellow man than we ever were before. And accordingly, we have a little less privacy than we ever did before. We've also fallen more and more into mind reading and assuming rather than asking and clarifying. And so we have become Olympic athletes at jumping to conclusions. Now, we can learn to adapt and change, and we can learn to control these daily stressors more and more. So here's a few suggestions for you. Find out exactly what others want from you. Not having a clear sense of others' expectations can heighten our stress levels, which are high enough. So learn to ask questions when you don't understand what someone wants. Don't guess. Don't take on too much. We are often afraid to say no, and we just undertake too much. When we do no one any good. And we may be afraid to say when we've actually overwhelmed ourselves. Learn to say no. Learn to be honest with others, with yourself. Have reasonable expectations for yourself. Most of us created our stresses in our 20s. We expected to be top performers. We were just hitting the business world, moving at lightning speed, drawing the admiration of everyone around us. And we just continued to add pressure through the years. Immortality was always for the young. Develop reasonable expectations for yourself, my friends. They will probably still be far higher than anyone else would have put on you. Create a more relaxing physical environment. We create as comfortable a home environment for ourselves as we can. But we should always remember that our business environment matters also. We spend more and more time than ever working. So you want to try and maintain a workplace that's airy and friendly and says something about yourself. That helps to reduce your stress. Now, I hate to tell you, but your mother was right. Don't forget to exercise, eat well, and take some time out just for you. If you're feeling stressed, your body is signaling and it needs some care. Research does show that breathing exercises, yoga, meditation, some downtime, moderate exercise are all called for and all help to relieve stress. Give yourself small rewards throughout the day. Learn to divide your projects into segments and reward yourself for accomplishments. These rewards can be as simple as taking a break, getting that second cup of coffee, but knowing that you're working towards something achievable in the short term makes the enormity of the entire day that much more manageable. We all need to learn to reward ourselves. When you take better care of you, You can take better care of the people who have meaning in your life and better care of the world. And there's so much in this Parsha about taking care of the people you love, even though it is woven into rules and laws about love, marriage, divorce, obligations, even mixing things together. Friends, this is the Love and Marriage Parsha. This is Kitetza, when you go forth. Now, as old Blue Eyes, the chairman of the board, saying, love and marriage go together like a horse and carriage. This I tell you, brother, you can't have one without the other. Woven throughout this entire piece are listed rules, regulations, laws, obligations, strange obligations regarding marriage. We also get what people think are the divorce rules buried in here, although they are not. And a great rule in Deuteronomy 22:10 about unevenly yoked animals. You shall not plow with an ox and an ass together. I get it. I get that there can be an uneven distribution of weight and workability if you have such a diverse pair. But many believe this sentence also applies to marriage. And they use this as a reason for non-supportive interfaith relationships. I love the conclusions people draw. Yes, we are Olympic quality at jumping to conclusions. Now, what was all this about adding to what was here? Friends, this Parsha is really about dignity. It's about the dignity and respect to be given to women. See, there's a terrible saying, all is fair in love and war. But it's not true. This Parsha is about respect for women captives. And you see among the captives a woman of comely features, and you desire her, and take her for yourself as wife. You shall bring her into your house, and she shall shave her head and do her nails, and she shall take off her captive's cloak and stay in your house, and mourn for her father and her mother a month of days. Now, I love the phrase, comely features. Those words were only used one other time in the Torah, my friends. Those were the words used by Mrs. Potiphar when she saw young Joseph. The Torah acknowledges that the soldiers of a conquering army are likely to be tempted to take captive women, but it forbids acting on the impulse. Instead, the Torah demands that a captive woman be granted dignity and honor. She is to be allowed to mourn her parents. She is to be given the honor of marriage. She's not to be taken forcibly. She is to be married and given the status of a wife. She cannot be treated as a slave, nor can she be sold. These are amazing laws. Now, before the conquering soldier can consummate his desire and marry the woman, he has to allow her to mourn the loss of her family for a full month. During this period of time, she is to shave the hair of her head and let her fingernails grow. Now, Rashi suggested that these were mourning rituals of the time. However, he also suggests another reason for her hairless, unkept appearance. He states that the Torah's laws are attempting to dissuade the man from marrying the captive woman by making her appear repulsive to him. The month of mourning, it's like a 30-day waiting period during which the man has time to reconsider his intentions. Buyer's remorse, so to speak. Does he really want to marry the weeping bald woman with the long fingernails? If at the end of the 30 days the man has decided he is not pleased with her and does not want to marry the woman after all, he is to let her go free. So some would say she cuts her hair and grows her nails so as to be less attractive, so that the man who's attracted to her will become less infatuated. And some others would say it's a part of her mourning. But what pervades the elements of the law is an extraordinary sensitivity to the humanity of a captured woman. Contrary to one of the most common practices of war, the Israelite soldier is not permitted to rape her. He may take her as a wife, but even then, he must give her time to mourn the loss of her family. And if he takes her as a wife but then rejects her, he must let her go completely free. And friends, the text uses the same verb as in the law of divorce. And the text recognizes that he has degraded her, brought her down. So he cannot treat her like a slave to be sold. He cannot receive money for her from anyone else. And the words for degrading her and letting her go are the same words that are used to describe the Egyptians degrading of Israel and then letting Israel go in Exodus. Again, Israel learns from its experience of enslavement. Israel not only celebrates its own release, but it learns to have compassion for others as well. The Torah's wisdom in this matter teaches us several principles that apply to every romantic relationship. A person should never rush into marriage. Love at first sight is not real love. Before committing to marriage, a person needs to take time to see past the other person's sexual allure and fog of lust. Hey, Proverbs 31:30 says, "Charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised." These laws teach us to curb our enthusiasm, to curb our natural desires, and remember that the person we are attracted to is, after all, another human being, not just a sex object. Furthermore, the laws pertaining to the captured woman teach us that sex before marriage is never sanctioned. Rape of captives, as I said, was strictly forbidden. Even the battlefield soldier had to delay gratification 30 days and wait until the wedding documents were signed. I love you more than ever, more than time and more than love. I love you more than money and more than the stars above. I love you more than madness, more than waves upon the sea. I love you more than life itself. You mean that much to me. Dignity, honor, respect. Shouldn't we give these to everyone all the time? Don't you want them for yourself? Few ceremonies outside of the sacrifices of the tabernacle are actually given in the Torah. The divine interest is in the marriage relationship rather than in the ceremony. Husband's treatment of the wife, prohibition of adultery, their relationship with children, inheritance, making one's spouse happy. The same goes for funerals and bar mitzvah. Even such well-known Jewish practices as saying Kaddish and sitting Shiva, they're not mentioned in the Torah. Bar and bat mitzvah are not treated or even mentioned either. The concern is with doing the commandments and showing honor to people. The details of the ceremony of arriving at the age of doing them, that's left for humans to decide. All of these ceremonies were detailed in rabbinic law much, much later. This is a great Parsha, my friends. If you get nothing but this from it, that's fantastic. It's about dignity and honor. But there are some other interesting, parts in it. We're told that you cannot contravene the law of firstborn. What a man will have two wives, one loved and one hated, and they'll give birth to children for him, the loved and the hated will have the firstborn son. Then it will be on the day that he gives what he has as a legacy to his children. He shall not be able to give a son of the loved one the birthright before the firstborn son of the hated one. And I always wondered, why could Abraham do this? Why could Isaac? It is ironic because Jacob does in fact take away the double portion from Reuben, who is the son of the less loved wife Leah, and he gives it to Joseph, who is the son of the more loved wife Rachel. Have we been paying for bad karma? There is a lot here, and it's followed by this very complex grouping of what can and cannot be mixed. And so much interpretation has come from some simple lines, my friends, such as the mixing of a woman and a man's clothes, and that's been taken as forbidding transvestites. Are we still adding too much? We were told not to add anything. Or about mixing shatnez, wool and linen together. The former comes from an animal, a sheep, and the latter comes from a plant, flax. Now some think that such fabric is prohibited because it was thought to be an unnatural mixture. Others think that it's because the priests have both linen and wool in their clothing, and that therefore laypersons must not wear what belongs to the realm of the sacred. There go the dogs. Friends, we actually do not know what this was, and we are guessing. Where do we draw the line? But one of my favorites in this that has been misunderstood for years is in Deuteronomy 23:3. A bastard shall not come into the Lord's community. Even in the 10th generation, one shall not come into God's community. Now, the problem is the Hebrew word mamzer. You see, we translate it as bastard, which has certain meaning to us, but which had only one meaning to biblical man. This has not been understood to mean someone born out of wedlock, but rather someone born from one of the forbidden sexual relationships. And that is different. Friends, all kinds of forbidden things are mentioned in this. Forbidden nations are listed. Except there's one amazing exception throughout the entire second half of the Torah. Egypt. You shall not abhor an Egyptian. Why? We say it because we were aliens in Egypt. So we understand. But we've been aliens everywhere we have gone. Now, could this be one of those historical clues pointing to the incredible closeness between language, beliefs, and background? See, the Israelites themselves were aliens in Egypt, and they were abhorred and mistreated. And so they must now never abhor an Egyptian or mistreat any alien. And this has become the prime demonstration of the principle in Judaism of what is hateful to you, don't do to your neighbor. It's about dignity. Dignity not just to the woman captive, but it's about dignity for everybody, friends. And it ends with a fascinating, simply fascinating statement. Remember what the Lord your God did to Miriam on the way when you were coming out of Egypt. What does that have to do with anything? Well, remember, friends, Rashi understood her offense, we talked about it at the time, to be slanderous gossip, Lashon Hora. So start thinking now about what you need to be aware of during the days of awe and what you're going to need to be asking forgiveness for. Friends, the world is sacred and so is everything in it. Express your gratitude, light a candle, make a wish, celebrate your life and the lives of those you love. Share your feelings with them. Live free, be free, honor your freedom. Be well, be happy, be blessed. Share and honor the light and all who live in the light and continue to shine. Continue to send to everyone you know goodwill and love. Pray for peace and freedom for everyone, an end to terror and hatred. Remember, friends, we are a community. We learn together, we celebrate each other, we love each other. We share this ride together, men and women equally. Let us send out love, not fear. Who knows how long I've loved you? You know I love you still. Will I wait a lonely lifetime? If you want me to, I will. Fall in love, friends. It is the great gamble worth taking. Ask questions. Do not take because as an answer. See what lies in front of you. Break free of the dogma and change your way of thinking. Thank you all. Love you. See you all next time. And I do love seeing you all again. And remember, your wishes do come true. Bless you all. Thank you. And if you are interested in learning more about our Rosh Hashanah service, please do drop me a line. Shabbat Shalom. Have a fantastic week. Take care. Bye.